Hello, this is Sid and Millie Chats. I'm Sid, this is Millie.
And we invite you to be a fly on our wall. So today, what are we chatting about?
Well, today we just finished watching Manchester United versus Ipswich Town.
Yep.
What are your initial take on the team, the manager?
Ruben's first game in charge. It was, I guess, probably what we would have expected. Gets his first game, he had 2 training sessions, very early to tell, I guess. I would just say, everyone just has to stay calm.
Like we were saying in our last video, giving them grace.
Yeah, grace, giving them time. There were still positives to take away from the game. It wasn't all poor. They're adjusting to a new system, and like Ruben said after the game, it seemed like everybody was thinking. Everyone was thinking about their responsibilities, what they needed to do, where they needed to be in certain moments, and I think that probably is why it didn't seem maybe as fluid as we would want. But again, when we're thinking about the long term, we can't panic over the very first game. Some of the positives we should talk about, Ahmad, brilliant right out the start. I think he was probably one of the brightest spots on the field for the whole game. Just kind of that willingness to just be direct, just to attack. Rashford, obviously, great finish, right place, right time. And that was very early in the game. So they brought that energy to start. They were definitely feeling energetic going into the game, which you definitely love to see. So Ahmad playing wing back, he definitely handled the transition of his attacking responsibilities and his defensive responsibilities really well. But I feel because he is so dangerous and one of our more dangerous players, I wonder if he could be better utilized in a more pure attacking position, that way he doesn't have as many defensive responsibilities. He has so much potential, such a great attacker. It was a phenomenal assist, and I think this is still just scratching the surface of what he could be. Who else had a good one today? Onana is a hero, honestly. You don't get that result without Onana, so his role, his importance can't be stressed enough, can't be emphasized enough. He's such a key player. Obviously, in an ideal world, we don't have him having to make that many important saves in a game. Hopefully, ideally you want Onana essentially reading a book back there, but that might not be realistic for the time being. But thankfully, when he was called upon, he showed up big, and that's what you expect from someone of his caliber, and hopefully he can continue to be the player we know he is, and that he continues to show that he is a player of the month, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. He's got the most clean sheets in the Premier League, so he's showing that quality, and it starts with the saves, but also his passing under pressure, the composure he has when forwards are sprinting at him. He's able to play into our midfielders' feet, into our outside backs' feet, and it makes a huge difference. It gives us a chance to actually build out of the back. Truly a class act. But I think inevitably we want to see that attacking football, where can every play end in a shot, end in a cross, end in some sort of attacking action.
What would you say some of the issues United faced were today?
There are definitely still some placement issues, some positioning, spacing issues probably. Still kind of weak losses of possession. Obviously, sometimes we don't take care of the ball as well as we need to. There are some of those things that maybe are lingering from the last managerial style we had. So some of this stuff is going to come with time. Some of it will come with changing personnel, but we'll just have to see what that looks like in Ruben's system and how he'll utilize like the players at his disposal, because definitely some people shined brighter than others today, I think would be probably the best way to say that. And I know that there's like a lot of that added pressure probably because like a new manager is trying a new system, so there's kind of like that threat of if you don't perform, what's your place gonna look like in the team after that. But yeah, you could definitely tell once Ugarte came into the midfield, we had a little bit more energy. I think overall, like Casemiro and Ugarte were a good pairing when Vin Nistelrooy was in charge. They worked really well together. So I'm interested to see if we'll see that like pairing again. Overall, I don't think it was like a bad performance. I think we've gotta accept little victories for now. Maybe people don't want to do that because they felt like that's how we were settling with the last the last system that we were that United was under. Maybe it felt like settling for like the Cubs and not necessarily having like a style of play was kind of like a struggle. I don't know, but I think like the little victories to take away are like scored early, showed some good attacking prowess, like connected a good bit of passes. You could definitely see a change in style, as Ruben promised. He promised you we would see something different. We saw something different with, again, a lot of the same players. So that's also something that we have to remember, is that, you know, where he was, he had time to build his system and curate the style of play that he wanted to play. But now he's inherited a job, inherited players who have been playing a 4-back system for a long time. Again, you have all the pressures of, you know, the Man United, the bigger league, all of these things that came into play. So yeah, I just think the little victories are scored a goal, got a point on the road. Didn't necessarily have like, you know, the support of Old Trafford singing around the squad. So I think there's a lot to be desired, but I think there's only really one direction to go, which is up.
What were your thoughts on like VAR going out?
Yeah, I guess it's like interesting they even made that announcement to us. But I mean, obviously, hopefully the fire alarm and everything was a false alarm. Hopefully everyone was okay. It almost was like a positive announcement, to be honest, when VAR goes out, because sometimes the absence of VAR makes it feel like you're gonna get a more like real game nowadays without that overanalyzation. Yeah. VAR is a whole can of worms to unlock, but thankfully nothing controversial happened in that time period, and thankfully I think it was cool the refs at least acknowledged it to like both captains and let them know what was going on, just so that everybody was aware. But from the players, from a Man United perspective, they need time. There's still a lot to grow. There were some good positives, still got a point on the road. I think Ruben probably got his first kind of real taste of what the Premier League is like and kind of what to expect, and he'll probably be looking at this game to see how he can better work his system in this league. So yeah, I mean, I think playing against a team like Ipswich Town, who's a well-organized team, who understands the club and the pressure, I think it was a good opening like test for Ruben. So we'll have to see how, like, where we go from here. And yeah, we'll have games literally midweek weekend for up until Christmas, which is coming up quickly.
Yeah, but still, that's a lot of games.
A lot of games, and so I think we'll probably see a lot of different players, a lot of different combinations of players playing in this formation, like throughout this time period, due to one, how many games there are and stuff. And then two notes that we kind of forgot about were Mason Mount and Luke Shaw.
Oh, yes. What were your thoughts on that?
Welcome back, Luke Shaw. I'm glad he's back. It's good to see him. He looks fit. He looks healthy. He just got, 40 minutes-ish under his belt. You could tell he was athletic. He was composed. He definitely brings, like, good energy to the squad. What this potentially means for Dallo, in the coming weeks, I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Because Mazraoui's composure, his ability on the ball, really make him a hard to replace player. And I mean, Dallow's defensive work rate and understanding is very good, but I do think with Luke Shaw coming back, you could see a little bit more competition for these spots again because there's less spots available now. Without that traditional back four, where Dallow would be either a right or left back, now you have him playing as a wing back, but now there's again now 6 players up for contention who could play as wing backs.
Right, which is a lot.
A
That's
lot.
a lot of competition.
A ton of competition. I mean, Mount got subbed on for Garnacho. I mean, like, there's a lot of players that can fit in a lot of different like positions in that within that. So we'll have to see what that's gonna look like.
Yes.
But again, it's very exciting, but also I feel like with all the anticipation that's been building over the last couple of weeks, I feel like everyone kind of needed this. Like Man United fans might have needed this. Players might have. Now we can all settle into more of like reality, more of like remembering that the Premier League is a tough league.
Yeah.
Remembering that no team is going to roll over just because we have a new manager and because the big dogs rolled into town.
Right.
They don't care about that anymore. It's not. The league is different than it was back in the day. The league that I like, grew up watching, it's changed. So everyone's going to show up to try and take down Goliath. And that's the reality of the situation. So every game, the guys, and Ruben knows that, they'll have to go out, fight, and prove their dominance on the field in order to earn these wins, which is what you have to do. And that's what Ruben said. Earn wins, earn time. You gotta win games to do that. So yeah, 1 game down, I think overall feeling positive, but a good reality check to keep everybody's expectations in line as we begin this long process of building a championship winning team, a Premier League winning team, and a European trophy winning team. So time is needed.
Those are our thoughts on the Manchester United versus Ipswich Town game. More to come in the future.
Thanks for watching. See you soon. Goal scorer today.
Yes.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Come on.